Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise, and oops, I was trying to show you the box here. I'm using the Sawyer's Path deck today. It's available on Etsy, or all her decks are on Etsy if you like her artwork. I love it. So anyway, this is your reading for November 11th. Friday, November 11th, and man, I'm looking at the chart right here and going, whoa. So the moon is conjunct Mars in Gemini, exactly 24 degrees, and that brings in a lot of communication, a lot of learning, a lot of getting the facts, getting some more facts, so there will be quite a bit of voting information coming out. But we're still going to have, that runoff in Georgia, it looks like. I mean, it's very, very possible. I think that's what they're calling, which would take us through December, that first week in December. And because the moon and Mars together are squaring Neptune and Jupiter, remember Jupiter tends to blow things up, and Neptune square Mars is about, the spin. It can very well be about the spin of misinformation is the nicest way I can put it. But what do we need to know? So we have the Page of Wands. Yeah, it's like hold on to your hats is what I just heard. There will be lots of orating coming out. But on a personal level, focus on what you want and go for it. It's a card of a new level of self-confidence. But yeah, and then remember how we had that finger of fate yesterday, finger of God, whatever you want to call it. We have another one today, and it goes from the moon and Mars together. And also, I'm going to draw 4 cards for today. I think they'll fit. I'll make them fit. The moon and Mars is down at the focal point of that aspect, which is making an adjustment up to Pluto. So if you're interested in looking at these charts, they're all, I do them every week, and they're in the weekly readings. You can go to look at that. Ooh, Hanged Man. Wow. Okay. So, but anyway, Pluto and Capricorn up here is power, right? And then there's this quincunx hitting Mars and the moon in Gemini down here. And then the other arm, leg, whatever, of the quincunx goes up to Venus. And they're all at, between 24 and 26 degrees. So the moon, Mars, and Venus are both, they're all three at 24 degrees. Now, Mercury and the Sun are not far off. They're still right there at 19 and 20 degrees Scorpio. So, but Venus in Scorpio, she usually gets what she wants, right? Because she's willing to fight for it. And so there's going to be some adjustments to power structures, but there's going to be that spin of lies that just doesn't stop. And we may be and here we are with the King of Wands, we may be in for that until Mars gets out of that square, which is December 4th. I mean, my goodness, what a holiday season, huh? So anyway, with these cards, it looks to me like, where's my chopstick here? There we go. So with the Page of Wands, of course, this is putting yourself out there. It has to do with good news often, definitely some news. It could be, for you personally, it could be feeling very optimistic about getting a new project underway. It's enthusiastic, and you want to, it's life force coming through, and you want to do something with it. But you have to be careful with this Three of Swords here, We have to be careful about the words. Now, of course, this is Mars and the moon in Gemini together. There can be like warring words. The swords have to do with thoughts, they're mental, and they have to do with words. Yeah. Words can hurt, words can harm. This can be lies. This can be a lot of energy going into lies. And then here we are, like the hanged man going, that doesn't feel right to me. Maybe your bullshit meter is just, constantly going off. And maybe it has to do with whomever is acting as if they're the big fat orange king. Right? Mind you, he doesn't look anything like this guy, but we have a lot of orange here, and I'm going to use it. On another funny political note, this could be the very childish, teenage-like orange so-called no longer king emperor, but this is the King of Wands, who is holding back on some lies, or maybe being hung upside down for some lies, or, like put in the, not really hung, but, put in the position of having to regroup, having to reflect, having to sacrifice something. And this could also be him spinning this lie, because this is what he's famous for, as I'm the victim. They're beating up on blah blah blah, and he uses it as a way to grift, to try and get gifts from people, and these email blasts, and I can only imagine, because that's what he does. You want me to run? Pay my way. That kind of crap, right? So let me clear that out. No more of that, and let's just look at this personally. So personally, I'm feeling like this is the day to go for it. Know that you are your own authority. Know that you are powerful. Know that you are your own leader. And let yourself be inspired by something new with the Page of Wands here. And then just surrender to that, and do not engage in any type of what's the word? I don't know. I'm just going to say incrimination, self-flagellation, self-judgment, negative spin. This might be one of those days where it's really a good idea just to keep the news off and get maybe the little alerts on your phone if you want, or check in on the news on whatever device by word rather than listening to it. Because the Hanged Man is very sensitive, and it's a card of needing, and often I get the cards for guidance as to best way to use the energy. This would be surrendering to our own inner authority, and maybe putting some barrier in between us and the news, because I feel like this has to do with the news. Because there's no reason to listen to everybody just blathering on, talking about their opinions when it's not done until it's done. And we can go on reputable news sites online and get it for ourselves. We don't need somebody else's opinion about it. As long as you're good at reasoning and deduction, Sometimes, though, you don't have time to do any of that, and you turn on the news while you're doing other things like the dishes or whatever, and you take it in. But, that's me. I do that all the time. But then I end up muting it because it's just like, oh, stop. Right? Like, remember all the crap that was going on for so long about the polls, all the polls. Well, they weren't polling the Gen Z generation. They weren't polling anybody else that was, just doing their own thing and knew how they were going to vote months ago, ever since June 24th when the overturn of Roe v. Wade came out. So, yeah, I feel like it's a day I feel like there's gonna be a lot of noise this day, and it's a really good day to meditate and get quiet, so that we don't betray ourselves, so that we don't betray the best in ourselves. We want to listen to our higher self. That's the only way we can do that, is to be silent. Get your guidance from your higher self here. So, okay, well, that's all I have for today, you guys. Sending you big hugs. And meanwhile, I'll be back soon. Bye.